Now on to 4A, Pickle. To 4A Division 2. And let's talk a little bit about...
A lot more chalk.
Chalk.
Yes.
Although there's some... Like, 3 of y'all are in complete lockstep, I think.
Yes.
Or 2 of y'all. No, 3 of y'all. All 3 in the middle.
All 3 of us.
Ish, Pickle, and Step, completely the same.
And Mallory.
Mallory and I dare to be different. Now, Mallory is right. So let's start with this. Four of us are rolling with Carthage to win the state championship.
Mm-hmm.
The quietest murder machine in America.
Yeah.
They have been, we haven't talked, like, it feels like we have not talked at all. And there's always one. There's always one team that goes wire to wire at number 1 and just mulches people, and we don't talk about them.
And a part of that scares me a little bit, that we haven't talked about them. You know?
This year it's Carthage.
Yeah.
Because they have outscored their opponents 507 to 95. Remember last year the big concern was that their offense really never got into gear? Well, they're averaging 51 points a game. They're winning games by an average of 41 points a game. They have wins over 5A Marshall, which is a playoff team. They have a win over Kilgore, right? They have a win over Center. They have a win over Van. They have a win over Rusk. And all those games were no contests. So I like Carthage, and they also have a coach who has 8 state championship rings. I like Carthage.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like a history thing.
Step likes Carthage, and Pickle likes Carthage. We go to our Chief Silsby correspondent, Mallory Hartley, who's going to roll with the Tigers.
Nah, I like this Silsby team a lot. I really like Draylon Miller, and when I filled out my bracket at first, I was like, I had Carthage, and I was looking at Region 2. I was like, that's a really tough region to get through. You've got Pleasant Grove, you've got Gilmer, Rusk has been good, and Carthage. I just think that Silsby's got a much easier path to that state championship. I think that they're going to be better rested, maybe. And when it comes to that, and I know that Carthage has been this murder machine all year, and it's hard to pick against Carthage, but I really like Draylon Miller. I think would be the best player in that game.
I'm going to push back against you on one thing. I think Region 3 is super deep. We'll get to that in a minute. I think Region 3 is super deep. And I think it's deeper than you guys are giving it credit for. Because all y'all are on Silsby in Region 3. We'll get to them in a moment. And I think Region 3 is deeper. We'll start Region 1. Region 1, we've got four of y'all on Hershey. You guys like Hershey. To me, we were talking about this in bracketology.
Yes.
I think there's really only 2 choices here in Region 1. I think it's kind of reflected here. You guys like Hershey. I'm going with Glen Rose. I think those are it's one or the other.
Basically, Hershey's going to have the 2 best players on the field, I think, in any game until they get to a state semifinal.
I was fixing it. Yeah, my biggest thing is to, like, all due respect to both of these teams, but their championship is the regional finals. Yeah. Whoever can win that's great. I just don't think that the competition is there when you put them in the state semifinal.
I think the difference between region, and
it's vast. It's a vast difference.
When you think about, like, last year, China Spring was the one that beat Carthage, and they made it through. That's where the real power nexus was. So then you go to Region 2. Region 2, we're in lockstep on Carthage. Yep. But again, I want to stress that, like, unanimity.
Gilmer's second, third round, right? Potentially.
What's that?
Carthage, Gilmer.
Second round or third round.
Third round.
Yeah, third round. Regional semifinal. Carthage and Gilmer. That's number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I want to continue to say. I'll continue to say the same things. Which people watch this show, they know I just say the same 5 things. Unanimity does not mean confidence. Do you know what I mean? Now, I think Carthage is the best team in the state. I really do.
I think there's confidence with this one.
I don't know, man. Gilmer's really good. Pleasant Grove's really good.
It's tough.
I feel like Gilmer, I'm sorry, but I just feel like Gilmer is the same thing that we're going to say with, oh gosh, what did we just say it about? Hang on, I went blank. Continue on with what you were saying. Malakoff. Yes, Malakoff and Grandview. It's just one of those things, like, no matter how good they are, they walk out with Carthage across their chest and they're down 14. Until I see it, I just can't believe it.
That's fair. That's a fair argument. And look, we're all taking Carthage.
Yeah,
to be clear. We're all
but for the sake of argument.
Region 2. But I also think that the unanimity we have in our picks, it lies to you a little bit about how... Like, because I think that region is
still super
deeper.
competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So on to Region 3, which is where I want to have a conversation with Mallory. Because y'all are all on Silsby, and I get it. I like that. I like Silsby a lot. Cuero, Belleville, Waco Connolly, Jasper. I think Region 3 is super deep. And if you want to talk about a path that Silsby would have to walk, they'll probably beat West Columbia. They'll probably beat Smithville. Then they're going to get in consecutive weeks Belleville, and then maybe Cuero, and then whoever wins Region 4, we all like Wimberley. I think they have a very tough path. I like what Cuero brings to the table. Maybe it's pedigree. Maybe it's because they've made that deep playoff run before. Now, Silsbee's no stranger to deep playoff runs, and they've got that dude. I've made the point before that I'm getting real Trendavian Dixon vibes from Draylon Miller in the sense that, like, just throw him the ball and, like, good things will happen.
Right.
But I think Region 3 is much more wide open than at first glance, because I think Belleville's really dangerous. I think Connolly, when they play to their paper, is really dangerous. The question there is depth, though.
Yeah, the question with Connolly is similar. It's to me, like a hyper version of what I talked about with Hitchcock, where they have Kobe Black, they have guys on the outside that can run with anybody. The second one of those guys are out for a play or goes down, they're too deep. It's just not there. Me and Mallory saw them take care of business against Springtown, just like absolutely look stellar. But again, there was a weird loss on their schedule, and I can't remember
for who.
Connolly.
Earlier in the year, where you like, but then you looked. It was because they had injury. Their quarterback was out, and so their too deep just isn't there.
Connolly lost a game to,
or was it? It was a
Brownwood.
They got
mulched by Brownwood.
Yeah, and so like again, Brownwood's very good too.
And then Brownwood went and lost to Stephenville the next week. So that's actually how that one aged poorly.
Yeah. So so that's where my concern with Connolly comes in. But I'm with Mallory here. I think I like Silsbee a lot. Draylon Miller's been, I mean, it's hard to talk about 5 best players in the state in any classification and not have his name in there.
It's fair. I just want to make sure that we are putting on wax that I think Region 3
is
really deep.
Yeah.
And really tough to navigate. There are other regions, like we were talking about Hershey and Glen Rose. I think Region 1's pretty manageable. Honestly, Seminole is maybe a bit of a sleeper up there in Region 1, but I think for Region 3, there's just a lot of depth.
Now, is it weird that we haven't talked about, and again, this is kind of just where they are this year, Western Stark?
It is weird, right?
Yeah.
But this is the time when they turn it on.
Yeah.
Like this time. And Hiawatha Hickman knows that. And
Which is exactly why I think I went with Silsbee, just because I feel like they have been more battle-tested throughout the year.
Sure.
I think that Cuero got 2 really good wins. We basically penciled them in to never have to talk about them again. They lost to Cal Allen. I think Cal Allen's a murder machine. But after that, it's been kind of like, okay. I think Silsbee's been absolutely battle-tested.
Okay.
I like that.
I think, too, Draylon Miller is also only a junior, so I don't think if it's their year this year, I think they've got a really good chance of coming back next year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then in Region 4, we are in lockstep with Wimberley. This is another region where it really does feel like Wimberley's to lose.
Which, shout out to them, too, because they lost Cash McCollum, so, new kids stepping in.
The other team I would throw out there, as a sleeper there would be Sinton. Sinton took 3 losses in non-district to Beeville Jones, to Edna, and to Lavernia, and I think kind of people buried them, but they're humming right now. They're humming right now, and Mike Troutman is a madman. So there's that. But then we all, except for Mallory, like Carthage to win title number 10. So.
Stick with it. Rep it.
Let's go, Silsbee. Don't let me down,
title
man.
number 9.
Don't let me down.
9. That's right.
Y'all are gonna feel sorry when Gilmer beats Carthage, and you're gonna be at a loss. I'm gonna be like, my champion's still down there. Who could have guessed this?
Wouldn't it be a shame if someone happened to pick Silsbee?
You can find all the brackets and everything you need for the Texas High School Football Playoffs at texasfootball.com/playoffs.